topic is believing in others, and for those who listen to this morning's podcast, we were talking a lot about, and exactly what you were saying, Yisrael. Um, in order to empower others, in order to be that educator, in order to be that parent, in order to be that any leader, I too happen to have a parenting course, by the way, even though as a business, consultant or whatever you want to call it. But the reason why I created that parenting course was because how could you be an effective leader in an organization and you're not an effective leader in the organization of your home, which kind of like is parallel, and it's that hypocrisy that we're talking about here. And what I tell people is that you can never lead anybody if you don't lead yourself first. And that was a big part of what we spoke about in the podcast. And so I would love to hear, that inner landscape, like that, like what's going on inside me first before I start leading other people. If you have maybe like a couple of minutes to just like tell us what you thoughts about that.
I'll just say this. The first thought that came to my mind when you mentioned landscape and the way you defined it, when the Torah gives a commandment on respecting and loving your fellow person, what does it say? It says, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your fellow person as yourself. Meaning, the barometer for how much to love somebody else is how much you love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, you're only capable of loving someone else as much as you love yourself. So if you don't love yourself, if you don't feel secure and safe, if you're not comfortable, if you're not in using your executive functioning properly, you're not capable of being there for somebody else.
Yeah.
And the first step for taking care of others is self-care, regulation. So I hope that answers your question about the landscape. Your landscape needs to be beautiful before you start figuring out others.